I chose to visualize the healthcare spending data by country from 1995 to 2012. Now, this data was collected by the World Health Organization and comes in the form of a CSV with about 9 features in total, and all of these features are represented as percentages. So, for example, one is total spending on health as a percentage of GDP, or how much that is actually spent on health comes from the government, that sort of thing. Now, on top of that, we've got data with a time series component as well. So we have this cross-sectional analysis of these 9 features taken every year. So in terms of my pre-processing, I found it, since I wanted to keep the time series aspect, I found it easiest to work with JSON. So I converted that CSV that you saw previously to a JSON format where I've got a whole bunch of objects, and each object contains all of the data relevant for a particular country. So for example, we're looking here at Canada, and within this object there are a whole bunch of sets of arrays where each array contains these tuples that show the year and whatever value it was for that year for whatever this variable is. So this is percentage of spending on health that comes from the government. I also chose to merge in GDP data from the World Bank just to include some sort of aspect, since these are all in the form of percentages, just to give some sort of context to what this percentage actually means. All right. Now on to what I had in mind. My first and my main visualization was inspired by Hans Rosling's Health and Wealth of Nations. I'm sure everyone remembers that, where he was able to visualize over time how something changed, essentially. And that's what I want to do here, where there's this yearly component that the user can adjust, and you could see the bubbles moving. But since I've got a total of 9 features, I wanted to also allow the user the flexibility to choose which features he or she wants to see. And then I would hopefully like to color code these bubbles based on some sort of grouping variable, although that would involve merging in something else or possibly using some GDP cutoff threshold. The second visualization would be a parallel coordinate plot where, again, you have this adjustment where you can adjust for the year, but we don't need to have the user select which features they want to see, because here we could show just all 9 features, and as they move this yearly indicator, they might see some sorts of trends in a particular feature or two. Now, the third visualization that I had in mind was a multi-line plot. So this would be a time series visualization where the year, the date would be on the x-axis, and then the user could choose on the y-axis what he or she would want to see. So here's what I have so far as my prototype. Been mostly focusing on this bubble chart. Now, if you see here, there's a whole bunch of colors, as I mentioned before. You get this. I would like to have some grouping variable where I could color code it similar to how it's color coded in the Health and Wealth of Nations, because right now we have this rainbow coloring because it's just based on country, but that will change. Now, if you see here, you can move and adjust what year you want to see the data at. So let's say 2006, 2005, okay. And you can also adjust what you want to see on the x-axis and y-axis, and everything will shift. Just like that. And the parallel coordinate plot is still under construction, as is the multi-line plot. But yeah, hopefully when this is done, you guys will have a chance to play around with this and have some fun. Maybe you'll find something cool in the data.